Hard Rock Lunchbox.
Welcome everybody to the show. If it amuses anybody at all, I actually did the entire intro of the show, the whole Krusty Krab thing, without, setting it to transmit. Good job. So that's a good start. I'm assuming that I'm even broadcasting today. I know last week we weren't broadcasting at all. It looks like I'm broadcasting. I mean, I don't know that for sure, but it does look like it. But I guess the chat can let me know if you hear my voice, my sultry, crappy tone. Then you could let me know if we're broadcasting or not. Yeah, so I did the whole intro. I forgot to hit, transmit. So, but here I am right now. So anyway, welcome to the Hard Rock Lunchbox. Assuming you're listening to Hard Rock Lunchbox. Of course, if you're watching this on Stranger Hit TV on YouTube, welcome to the top 20. If indeed, actually, I'm so paranoid now. I guess I'm just going to see and check if we're even transmitting. Please hold 1 second. I know, terribly professional once again, but it's okay. Oh, I have a Jersey Mike story. I'll tell you about that in a second. So, cancel. No. Oh, no, I accidentally opened my Jersey Mike's app. Oh, no, how terrible. Let me get to this. Alright, so... Let me clear all this. Yeah, this is great so far. Donna does. Alright, good. Donna hears me. That's good. Alright, then I can continue on with my nonsense. Let me just see. Everybody is recording. Hello? Anybody? So... Yes! Yeah, okay, cool. We are golden. We are stardust. We are golden. We are 50 million year old carbon, or whatever. No Joni Mitchell fans out there? That's alright. That's okay. So we are broadcasting. Tremendous. Great job, everybody. We're transmitting. We did not transmit last week because we had a server issue, so I could not broadcast live. However, there is a new top 20 out today because I did record the top 20 because that has nothing to do with an outside server. It's something I post to YouTube, so you can check that out. Honestly, I don't have my lighthouse keeping notes of what the show was, but I did name it the MAGA-Epstein phenomenon, and I'm talking about what's happening in the MAGA wing of the Republican Party over all these Epstein files. I will tell you, late last night or late yesterday afternoon, I did see that the New York Times, the old gray lady, I think that's the nickname for it, had broke a story that indeed the Justice Department, Donald Trump's Justice Department, had told him months ago that he was in those Epstein files. So not only are there Epstein files, so that's lie number one, they told him about it even though he says he's not in them. That's lie number two. And now they've disappeared them. And in a not so stunning in this administration, but any other administration, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, actually dismissed Congress, the House of Representatives in Congress dismissed them early for their summer holiday so that there would not be a forced vote on releasing the Jeffrey Epstein files, which is one baller move. Like, what? Excuse me. It's so douche. Yeah, so I honestly don't know what the episode's about, but I'm pretty sure it's all Epstein stuff. I would encourage you to watch it, mainly because you didn't hear it last week for sure, but also because nobody watches the top 20 anymore, and I feel like we're just going to probably end that soon, so you might as well just see it while you can. There's just no point in me doing this if 5 people are going to watch it. Like, there really just isn't, and it's just disappointing to me because I thought it was important, I thought it mattered, and I thought it was entertaining, and apparently it is neither of those things. None of those things, but truly being unimportant is exactly where I seem to shine lately, so it just falls par for the course with absolutely everything else. So that's kind of where that's at. I would encourage you to check it out. If you don't, you'll be like almost everybody else, so it really won't matter all that much. I have Oh, the Jersey Mike's story. So I'm on the Jersey Mike's. I've only had Jersey Mike's like twice in my life. After wanting to get it for years, by the way, I just never got it. So as somebody that's, fairly gluten-free, I mean, I'm not as gluten-free as I ought to be, but I've also... So just quickly, just a refresher. The main reason I am gluten-free is because about 10 years ago, maybe even longer at this point, I found out that what was happening, like I do not have celiac and I do not have any problems like that, but gluten really can affect your microbiome, and microbiome is all the rage these days. It was super important to me back then because one of the things that your microbiome does is produce neurotransmitters, and we basically determined through trial and error that gluten, or at least American gluten, that's a whole other show, disrupts my ability to produce neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, right? So dopamine is like kind of the thing that makes you like live and survive, and serotonin is the thing that makes things worth living, right? So that's why you see in a lot of antidepressants you get SSRIs, which are selective serotonin reuptake inhibitors, which means you're basically just flooding your brain with serotonin because you are not producing enough for your particular situation. So that was the main reason I realized I needed to not have gluten as often as possible. I also developed a secondary symptom situation, I don't know, something, where I developed at a fairly young age for this particular syndrome, I developed rheumatoid arthritis. And I was able to determine that I would only have flare-ups of rheumatoid arthritis if and when I had really heavy glutens, like pizza, bagels, something where gluten is really required for the structure of the thing that you're eating. I was able to get away with low gluten things like sourdough breads and rye breads and stuff like that. But so that's when I became super hyper aware that I really can't do a lot of gluten. One of the things I really should not have are heroes, which Jersey Mike's is famous for. And yes, before everybody tells me, you can always get stuff in a cup or a bowl or whatever, just about pretty much any other place, because celiac is such a rampant sort of thing in America. By the way, it's really only a rampant thing in America because it's not just a gluten thing, and I know I said this would be another show, but I might as well just hit it now. It's because of the way we do gluten in America, especially wheat, and the way we kind of dismember it from all the rest of the wheat. Most of the rest of the world does not do that. Like, so if you are actually, like, unless you're extremely celiac, you can probably go to the EU and eat, like, actual French baguettes and stuff and be just fine because they do a better job of it. But I do try and shy away from heroes. Usually my biggest indiscretion is I will get a burger from, like, Five Guys, which I realize you can argue that it's a burger like Taco Bell or tacos, but because it's just such a light, crappy bread, like, I am able to tolerate that. But I do try and stay away from heroes, which is why it took me so long to go to Jersey Mike's. And I finally went to Jersey Mike's, actually walked up there all 4 miles from my house to get one, and it was delicious. Like, it really was. So every now and then I do partake in the Mike of Jerseys, but my story was actually because excuse me. My story is because I'm on their text chain because I just don't unsubscribe. I don't unsubscribe to things anymore because there's no point. If they want to send you stuff, they'll do it whether you are subscribed or not. But I got their text, and I completely misread it. I don't know why. Half of these words weren't even in the text, but it was like, I thought it said, today only, buy, a Jersey Mike sub and get one free. And I'm like, that's perfect. Not that I can eat 2 subs, but I can eat 2 subs over 3 days. And I am trying even more so these days to be fiscally responsible and prudent and all that other stuff. So it just made sense for me to buy once and eat 3 times. And I went through the order and I'm like, this is weird. I'm not getting like any sort of BOGO offer here. And then I go back to the text and it's like, oh, no. Today you buy a Jersey Mike sub and you get it delivered for free. And I'm like, oh, that's totally different. I mean, I guess if you're getting food delivered, it's a good deal. The only food I really ever get delivered anymore is Chinese food and pizza. Like the staple things that people traditionally got delivered. Like, I don't even know how to Uber Eats. I think I've accidentally done DoorDash once or twice, but like it wasn't on purpose. I just, you guys have delivery, and I feel like that was probably during COVID. So I've done Instacart once or twice, but generally speaking, if I'm spending money on food, I feel like the very least I can do is do some work to go get it. So that's what I do. That's just me. That isn't you. Don't worry about it. But that's my Jersey Mike story. I will say it has been quite the week for me. I am just absolutely chronically fatigued again. I am super exhausted. I am not sleeping well. I broke down on Tuesday and I got myself a big gulp of Dr. Pepper from 7-Eleven before practice. And the thing with me is I don't like sodas. I don't really drink sodas. I like seltzers or water. I really drink water. But every now and then I just get this hankering, and I'm using the word hankering because that's kind of what it feels like, because it really happens twice a year. And I was early for practice, and I was like, cool, I'll go get this. It'll be good. It's hot. It'll be nice and cold. So I don't know if this is exactly what caused it, but so I drank that throughout practice. It took me all of practice to drink it. But when I went to work out afterwards, after rehearsal, and then I got home and, probably got into bed around 1 or whatever, I got up to pee no less than 5 times. 5 times that night, which is, if anybody's ever gotten up to pee once, knows how disruptive that can be. When I tell you I got so little sleep, I probably clocked about an hour and a half of REM sleep across the entire evening, which is just so bad. I am happy to report that physically I am able to handle that a lot better. My adrenal glands have healed somewhat so that I can tolerate that, because there were days when I would literally just crash out in the middle of the day. I did crash out pretty badly last night because I was just so goddamn tired that it feels like your frontal cortex just shuts down. So I was dealing with that, had a bit of an emotional run yesterday for a variety of reasons. So I feel like I'm on rebound right now, trying to just bounce back up from there. Like, I really had a lot of, not coming to Jesus moments over the past couple days, but like some real awareness. And I know I've mentioned here on the show a few times that I've dealt a lot with working through acceptance in therapy, right? Like, that's a big thing for me. Somebody that grew up the way that I did, trying to fix their situation all the time, doesn't really learn acceptance all that well, right? And and I have this with attachments too. It's all apparently the same stuff. And I'm not an expert, but I feel like I'm, like that when I stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night, so I'm an expert. Like, that's kind of what it feels like. But so I'm going through all of this stuff, and like kind of at every point, every step on this ladder, I will say it feels accomplished to sort of move past something. But I will say, like, I'm still not letting it go. So, like, while I am accepting it, I'm not releasing it. And I feel like that's a big, important part of it. Like, there's a lot of things in the world right now that I'm just not comfortable with. Like, they don't sit well with me. There's a lot of injustices in the world for real, and then apparent injustices in the world for me. Like, I know I mentioned this, I've mentioned this for years, and it's certainly come up in therapy, but like, and this is actually one of the reasons I like Andy's song The Slight so much, is because I refer to things as slights, and I see them as these very sharp, they're not digs, like they truly are slights. They're somewhere between like overlooked and underappreciated and undervalued and ignored and dismissed. It's like all of these things, but like on steroids, and they really wrap together, and they wreak havoc on me because of the way that I am. And I am always very quick to point out that I'm not using any of that as an excuse. I am only ever offering it up to anybody that hears me say it as a reason. Now, I'm not even justifying it. Like, I've said for years, and when I did that whole mental health thing on this show, that actually the top 20, that was like the top 20 that got the most views. And I have no idea why. I didn't do anything that I normally didn't do, but I was talking a lot about mental illness, but specifically how hard it is for other people to deal with your mental illness, but how hard it is for you to know that. Like, it is incredibly difficult watching, me put people I care about through so goddamn much just because I can't keep my stuff together on any given day. Like, it is absolutely exhausting. So I've been doing a lot of work to start recognizing these things that approach me like a slight and dealing with it, looking for underlying reasons it's bothering me, looking for actual now that's the harder one. That's the journey I've been on lately, is when you start analyzing it, right, and you just see it everywhere in the world, like, you feel like everything's a slight, but it's not, right? Like, there's there's a lot of stuff that's just careless on other people's parts, but there's a lot of things that people are just living their life, and that has absolutely nothing to do with you. But your perception of the world is yours. So you kind of have to be willing or ready to just sort of accept that these things are happening, and they have nothing to do with you, and they aren't actual slights. They're just these things you don't like, right? Like, if a waiter gives you chocolate ice cream instead of vanilla, and you wanted vanilla, like, it's not really the worst thing in the world. Also, they probably didn't do it on purpose. Maybe they wrote it down wrong. Maybe it got miscommunicated. And, like, that's something you have to be like, wow, why'd that guy do this to me? Like, I had seen a post yesterday. It's like, remember, it was a joke, but it was like a live concert shot. And it was like, remember, whenever a band doesn't go to your town, it's specifically because they're mad at you and they hate your town, which, of course, is ridiculous, right? Nothing to do with that. I mean, I guess there are some towns people don't want to go to, and that's fine. But when you see that as a personal attack, like, you have to start spending some time and a lot of self-reflection to be like, is this actually a thing? Is this actually happening? And the reality is, it's not. Most of the time, it's just the way you're seeing the world. But as I started saying before, what I've been doing lately is I've had to do the work to undo that pendulum swing, right? Like, I spent a lot of time being like, cool, this isn't really a slight. This isn't really about me. We have a song not coming out, but it's up in pre-production. It's called As You Run. And the line that repeats in the chorus, it's like, so it's not about you? And it's a question. It's like literally asking that, like, and that's part of that discovery and that journey that I made. But again, so I stopped seeing everything as these intentional slights, but now what's happening is there actually are some. And I struggle so hard when I have this initial feeling that this is what's happening, and my gut is telling me that that's what it's happening. And then I do all the work to process it through all of my therapy tools and everything I know about myself and everything I know that I do, like, and I shouldn't do. I'm just messed up and not wired properly. Like, I funnel it through all that stuff, and then I do that work, and then I'm looking at it and I'm like, this is absolutely with some intent. And once, like, I make that, it's not even like a leap, but like, once I see it, then it's a whole other ballgame. Because now I've just done this whole travel, this whole work of acceptance and all those other things just to get back to, oh no, this is actually happening. And those are things that I'm just powerless to do. Like, I do not know why people treat me the way they do a lot. I don't know why. I can blame that squarely on my upbringing. Like, literally, you know, like, you see, like, when the people are doing, like, the red lines on a police, like, there is no board, right? I don't understand why people treat me this way. My parents treated me this way for absolutely no reason. And the damage that my parents did to me by doing that has created this absolute monster that I am today, because I still don't know. I mean, when your primary caregivers, like, the people that raise you, treat you like you don't matter, you learn that feeling and you understand how it feels and you see it in the world as clear as day. And there are lots of people that go through their world and their days, like, completely oblivious to all this stuff. I watch it, and I watch them like they're superheroes, because I've seen people get disrespected, have absolutely no idea that it happened, and just carry on with their life. And I'm like, that's super interesting. Like, that you can even do that. Like, I look at it like Superman can fly. I'd rather have this particular power to just be oblivious to those kinds of things. I can't imagine how much happier I would be as a person if I didn't constantly see these things and then, again, do all the work and then only to come around to just be like, oh, this is actually happening. And that sucks. But that's what I've been doing this week, and if I sound breathless and worn out from it, it's because I am. And that's where we are. And I truly meant to come here and talk about something really wonderful and beautiful, and I guess I'll just have to do that later. I wanted to talk about the new Craving Strange release that's coming out tomorrow, because there's a lot to be said for it, in my opinion, and I said some stuff directly to Jimmy about it yesterday and last night. I think it is, and I'll just say briefly now, like, maybe I'll just talk about it next week fully, but, like, I think it is one of the finest Craving Strange songs I've ever heard, and that, my friends, is saying something. There is something so beautiful about this song, and I knew it the moment I heard it. The very first time I heard it, I was like, uh-oh, that's going to get stuck in here. And I was right, and it was very similar to, like, the first time I heard, like a wave does that to me, and even, like, Here and Gone. But, like, I remember when and where I was when I first heard that breaking like a wave, and I was like, I got goosebumps. I'm getting goosebumps right now just thinking about it. But Not Another Roxanne is just an absolute primo song. Even, like, it's a primo Craving Strange song for sure, but it is a primo song just in the world, just in general. And I will tell you, I may or may not have a copy of it, because obviously how would I have heard it if I didn't? But, like, we can suspend disbelief and maybe pretend for about an hour that I don't have it, and maybe I will and maybe I won't, but maybe we'll find out at the end of the show. Maybe we won't. But if we don't, you can always pick it up tomorrow, where it streams everywhere worldwide. And I gotta tell you, it's everything that I was waiting for, and that will be my review of that. And I had considered playing it right now because I wanted to hurry up and get to it, but I am spending a lot of time working on impulse control. I'm not doing very well, and as people point out all the time, as soon as my judgment goes out the window, then I'm just a complete piece of crap about it, and like I have to do what I've got to do, and apparently it's all me and selfish and all that other stuff. So I am super trying to work on impulse control, and one of the best ways I can do that is just avoid the thing that I'm impulsive about. So that's what I'm going to do, and not play Not Another Roxanne just yet. But we can all just wait, hold our breath, hope for the best, all that other good stuff. I do, however, have a brand new song for you from Playing Dead. And this is really cool because as much as I like this band, they did something very different this time. In fact, I talked to Sam about it, and he messaged me that he's not singing on this song. And I was like, what? Why? And I asked him, I'm like, you guys going the Goo Goo Dolls route? Like, you know, let Robbie sing a couple of songs so people go to the bathroom? And he was like, no. He's like, they realized that they were severely underutilizing their backup singer, and so they let her take lead on this one. And I gotta tell you, I dig it. So there we go. I got brand new Playing Dead. It's called Invisible Girl, and that's how we're going to kick off the box.